Hi, I'm Dave Henry. Welcome to my second video on the use of bird mouth router bits, and thanks for giving it a try. The first video explained the basics of these versatile tools. This and following videos will explore some unique projects that take advantage of that versatility. Today I'll talk about the 6-side bit and the interesting shapes it gives by simply changing stave width. I'll save the 8-side bit for later. Here are 5 examples of 6-sided shapes made with the 6-side bit. At first glance, they may not look like it, but as you'll see, they are indeed 6-sided. Little more work was needed for each of these than for the basic hexagon that was discussed in the first video. They differ only in the length of the staves. To convert this basic shape into a longer vessel, for example, just requires widening of 2 opposite sides by the same amount. So if we just imagine taking these 2 sides, they're 2 inches in this, to 7 inches in this one, there it is. You just put them together. The joinery remains tight as before, because no angles have changed. And that is the basic idea of playing with stave width. If the angles don't change, the joints remain tight, even though the overall shape of the vessel may change a lot. To convert this now longer vessel into this much narrower one is again a process of just changing stave length. In this case, we're changing both sets of opposite sides, here and this one, into narrower pieces. So these are each 2 inches, these are just 1 inch wide, and this is what you get. A much narrower vessel, but the joinery remains tight and you have a very sound vessel. To transform this now very narrow shape into this shape is again just changing the length or width of the staves. We're going to hold 2 sets constant. These we just did, but 1 inch wide, corresponding to these, and we're going to hold these 2 long ones as we had before, but we're going to take this set and expand that to 5 inches in each place, and we get this. Again, no change in angles, a nice stable shape, and it's so easy to do. The last example of call it transformation, from a regular hexagon to some other interesting shape, uses a different principle than we've been using up till now. In this case, 3 sides, alternate sides, can be changed at one time to the same length without changing angle. In this case, what I've done is take the redwood staves and enlarge them from 2 inches to 5 inches. Simultaneously, I've shrunk the maple staves to 1 inch each. And what do you get? Something that's very triangular in shape, yet retains all the joinery, solid joinery, that the 6-sided bird mouth bit gives you. I'm sure you've noticed that these examples are held together with rubber bands. This reflects the tightness and stability provided by bird mouth joinery, permitting them to be handled as if they're already glued up. The rubber bands do permit flexibility, of course. They squeeze out of shape if you work at it, but they always snap back to the right position, the one you want for the glue up. I use rubber bands for clamps for small projects like this one, and for larger projects, perhaps like this one, or certainly bigger ones, I use band clamps, and they work very well. Okay, what can you do with these stave width ideas? The answer, of course, is a whole lot, and depends a great deal on the imagination of the individual woodworker. In my case, I've used them mainly for making waterproof vases with interesting woods and with non-round cross sections. I'll show two of these vases and talk about them a little bit. The first vase is made of Macassar ebony, pear, and holly, and has a rounded triangular cross section. The goal of the piece was to highlight the striking color contrast between the heartwood and sapwood, using 3 wide panels of ebony separated by thin stripes of holly and with 3 rounded corners in pear wood. I would have been happier if the pear had more contrast with the ebony sapwood, but it turned out reasonably well. This is a cutoff from the body of the vase. It shows the bird mouth construction that we've been talking about, but which is now hidden in the vase itself by the holly end caps at the top and the bottom. Well, here are the ebony staves and, of course, the pear staves. A strip of 3/16 inch holly, here, 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 and so on, was glued to every stave on the edge opposite to the routed edge. Here's the routed edge and there's the holly strip. And this provided the vertical white stripes in the final piece. The 3-inch diameter well was bored after the entire body was fabricated, and it was followed by insertion of the copper sleeve and last, the final shaping of the piece. I've obviously rounded the angles considerably in this case, and I used for that purpose, for this piece, a 6-inch benchtop belt sander. The finish is wipe-on polyurethane over shellac. This smaller vase with a 2-inch water well is made from lychee wood, pear, and holly. It has the same basic design as the ebony vase and has holly caps on top and bottom as well. This vase differs significantly from the ebony one in being tapered, narrower at the top than at the bottom. This cutoff from this vase looks similar to the ebony one, showing 3 wide staves in lychee in this case, and the narrower ones of pear, as well as the 1/8 inch strips of holly to provide the vertical stripes in the final piece. The overall taper of the vase is achieved by tapering each stave to the same angle. That is, on this panel of lychee, it is wider at the bottom than it is at the top. Surprising to me, at least, was the fact that the taper does not affect the quality of the joints. As you can see from this cutoff, the joints are just as tight with taper as without. Hopefully I'll be able to talk about the interesting subject of tapered staves and their use in bird mouth joinery in a future video. If you'd like to know more about tapered staves right now, the Lee Valley Tools website describes it in some detail in connection with their bird mouth router bits. Well, that's it for the 6-side bit and playing with stave width. The next video will check out stave width and the 8-side bit. If you have any comments or questions about this stuff, you can contact me through my website. Thanks.